Welcome to the online demonstration of the Online Work Readiness Assessment, OWRA, OWRA tool. For many years, the United States Department of Health and Human Services, Administration for Children and Families, Office of Family Assistance, in partnership with state, county, and tribal temporary assistance for needy families, TANF programs, and other stakeholders have been working to improve the work readiness of low-income and working individuals. Many of these individuals rely on TANF services to achieve a greater level of self-sufficiency. The main objectives of TANF are to promote stronger families, increase employment, and improve self-sufficiency among the most vulnerable populations. To help meet these objectives, OWRA has been developed by states, tribes, and county TANF administrators to ensure a more seamless and effective delivery of services to TANF participants, low-income, and working individuals. The purpose of this introduction to OWRA are to outline the purpose of the OWRA tool, discuss the two OWRA pilots and the outcomes, outline the key components and various modules of the OWRA tool, and demonstrate the different assessments in the OWRA tool. At the conclusion of the OWRA demo, you will have a better understanding of the OWRA tool, have a better understanding of the importance of assessments in improving client outcomes, be able to access the OWRA tool and navigate through the assessments, and be able to demonstrate a minimum proficiency on using the OWRA tool. My name is Christina Tachiko, and I'm your online narrator. Along with the OWRA Federal Project Officer, Mr. Al Fleming, I will lead you through this demo. If you have any questions after this demo, please submit your questions to tanf_techconnections@icfi.com so that we can ensure that you're ready to use OWRA and prepare individuals for self-sufficiency. Let's get started, so sit back, relax, and get ready for this online demonstration to OWRA. An important step in ensuring that TANF families achieve self-sufficiency is providing individuals with access to the education, training, and work experience necessary to gain and maintain well-paying jobs and careers. Comprehensive case assessments are the process of identifying, gathering, and weighing information to better understand the significant strengths and barriers affecting an individual's ability to achieve self-sufficiency. Comprehensive assessments are often the first step in the process towards self-sufficiency for TANF families. Whether it's identifying basic education needs or domestic violence challenges, assessing the barriers to employment for TANF participants is an important component of self-sufficiency development. OWRA assists caseworkers in developing a strategy for targeting clients for services and simplifies service delivery. More importantly, OWRA has been shown to assist caseworkers in effectively addressing gaps in program services. Research from the Urban Institute has shown that the most effective assessments are along a continuum of services that are specifically tailored to the needs of clients. Attempts to more completely understand the impact of client assessments as a part of a comprehensive case management strategy and to integrate assessment results into self-sufficiency and case management have to date been only partially successful. Through the pilots conducted and for OWRA, the online work readiness assessment tool has been shown to be a successful strategy for moving from the research based on case management assessment to the real-world implementation of a comprehensive assessment tool that more thoroughly assesses clients to determine work readiness and then link them effectively with needed support services and appropriate job placement.
Hello, my name is Al Fleming, and I am the Federal Project Officer for the Online Work Readiness Assessment Initiative. I bring you greetings from the United States Department of Health and Human Services, Administration for Children and Families, Office of Family Assistance in Washington, D.C. The Deficit Reduction Act of 2005 has required that those who receive TANF benefits participate in specific work activities. States have used various methods for improving the ability of individuals to seek, gain, and maintain employment. We have developed this specialized, comprehensive, targeted, and timely OWRA tool to improve the online assessment of TANF participants. OWRA is fully customizable to the specific needs of diverse populations and can be used by TANF workers, intake staff, and eligibility workers alike.
The OWRA tool has a rich history of field testing and validation from 3 pilots.
An initial pilot of a Maryland-only based OWRA tool was piloted by ACF from 2006 to 2007 by the Maryland Family Investment Administration within the Department of Human Resources. This initial tool was developed and tested at the University of Maryland School of Social Work. It also served as a base of validation for questions, answers, and generated recommendations since it was derived from paper-based assessment. Then from January to July of 2009, we worked with 5 states and the Quinault Indian Nation in an intensive pilot and gathered evidence on the effectiveness of OWRA to streamline case management activities and modernize assessment for TANF participants. During the pilot, 784 cases were logged by 87 case managers across the 16 pilot localities.
Following this pilot, from 2009 to 2010, the Self-Sufficiency Plan, Work Readiness Module, and the Reporting Module were developed and added to OWRA. The Integrated Self-Sufficiency Plan component helps caseworkers and clients specifically map out next steps and activities. The Work Readiness Module assists clients in identifying their skills and interests and in preparing for job interviews. It also provides case managers with information that can be used to help clients achieve success. The Reporting Module collects important demographic and program data and provides a profile of your TANF program in real time for management. From June to September of 2010, OFA worked with 3 states, the District of Columbia, and the Fort Belknap Indian Community Council to pilot the entire tool in 12 localities. 366 assessments were completed across 12 sites by 33 case managers. Based on the results of the 2009 pilot, there is clear evidence that OWRA has improved the overall understanding of TANF participants' needs and assists TANF programs to better gather client information. In the next slide, Al will cover some of the lessons learned from the 2009 pilots.
Pilot sites saw a rise in the number of referrals to work support and services, or better targets clients appropriately for different types of job retention services, simplify service delivery mechanisms to allow more time for coordinating services and meeting other clients' needs while effectively addressing gaps in program service. Caseworkers in South Carolina indicated that the tool leveled the playing field because it provided workers with the tools, methodology, and process to ask the right questions. In California, our partner stated that the tool provided comprehensive assessment that encouraged participants to think more holistically about their employment barriers and strengths and led them in a new, more positive direction towards self-sufficiency. In North Dakota, the caseworkers indicated the tool helped them learn more about the TANF participants and helped them become better engaged with each case. Moreover, they indicated the tool was easy to use and greatly complemented their current case management activities. The Maryland caseworkers believe that the tool is very detailed and provided a more comprehensive picture of each participant. Generally, the tool was considered helpful in identifying a lot of barriers that might not have been detected. As a result, it is a useful tool for working with individuals with multiple barriers to employment. Illinois was the largest and most diverse of all the OWRA pilot sites. Assessments were conducted in rural as well as in urban communities and were conducted in Spanish and English. OWRA represented a welcome evolution from the paper-based system. OWRA provided a series of necessary recommendations that were valuable in the overall case management activities and helped track clients' progress. The OWRA tool helped caseworkers focus on what specific next steps are necessary from clients.
From the 2009 and 2010 pilots, OWRA was very well received by the sites. A majority of TANF participants assessed with the OWRA tool appreciated the dialogue that the tool encouraged. Case managers uniformly agreed that the OWRA tool enabled them to make accurate and real assessments of the TANF participants' actual needs. It enhanced conversation between the participant and the case manager on issues, concerns, and barriers that are not normally discussed when traditional or paper-based assessment forms are used. At the same time, state, tribal, and county leadership perceived OWRA as an effective tool for ensuring accountability among case managers towards their participants, which improved the quality of service delivery. Simultaneously, OWRA helped leadership and management identify internal issues that needed to be addressed, such as the need to train case managers as they address issues around domestic violence, mental health, and substance abuse.
The purpose of this demo is to show you how OWRA can help you assess participants' needs, prepare employability plans, organize service referrals, coordinate training and employment activities, and facilitate follow-up. At this point, I will turn the demo over. Thank you for your attention and for all that you do for American families.
Thanks, Al. So I'm sure you're asking, what is OWRA? Well, OWRA is an online tool that relies heavily on your ability to determine the work readiness needs of your TANF participants. Each response to the question is weighed on the back end and generates a summary of recommendations and a series of work readiness highlights for TANF workers to better serve the participants. OWRA is an interactive resource that was created to ensure that TANF participants are prepared to seek and or maintain employment of work activities in accordance with federal regulations and in an effort to improve self-sufficiency. OWRA is broken down into 4 stages that coincide with the 4 modules of the tool. First, the initial interview with TANF participants. Second, the development of a tool-based assessment worksheet. Third, incorporating OWRA data into an individual's self-sufficiency plan or employment plan, along with the provision of work readiness resources. And fourth, using OWRA data to analyze client trends and identify gaps in local offices, counties, and states through the reporting module. Each stage is just as important, and each stage fits into the desired outcome of preparing a TANF participant for self-sufficiency. The intake module is a TANF intake form that captures fundamental information for case decision-making and family independence. Data is collected on demographics, employment, and education. The assessment module uses the information collected in the intake module to develop a comprehensive assessment of an individual's participants' strengths and barriers. This module assesses TANF participants for substance abuse, mental health, disabilities, domestic violence, housing, transportation, and child care barriers. The self-sufficiency plan and work readiness modules are made up of 2 components: the self-sufficiency plan and the work readiness resource. The self-sufficiency plan portion of this module provides case managers with the tools to develop an interactive action plan for participants to outline the steps that's needed to be taken to achieve employment. It also helps case managers track core, non-core, and work support hours. The work readiness resource is an open tool that is not password protected that's available to both TANF participants and case managers. It is intended to help participants learn about their interests, abilities, and skills, and to prepare for job search and employment opportunities. It provides case managers with an interactive hub of information, resources, and tools to help their participants become self-sufficient. The reporting module is intended for leadership at the local office, county, or state level. As information is added and updated, this module collects real-time data that allows staff at all levels to understand the characteristics, demographics, and needs of their caseload and TANF population. It also allows staff to inform strategies used at the case management, supervisory, and administrative levels to design and customize programs to meet the TANF needs. OWRA allows you to determine the specific work supports that a TANF participant may need to effectively get into a work activity. It also helps you to strategically think about how to assist your client to gain employment, maintain a job, or to move towards increased self-sufficiency. Caseworkers affect the need assessment, referral process, and the provision of supportive services that help families reach and maintain self-sufficiency. When caseworkers are armed with comprehensive tools to make their jobs easier, they're able to more effectively meet the needs of their caseload. But I'm sure you're asking yourself, how long does OWRA take? We recognize that you are busy, and many of you have increasing caseloads and more responsibilities. Many of you are responsible for not just TANF, but also SNAP, Medicaid, and other services for individuals that come into your office. OWRA is an intuitive tool that moves at your pace. On average, OWRA takes approximately 45 to 60 minutes to complete, but the exact time varies depending on you and the TANF participant, the amount of information gathered, and the ease with which you navigate the sections. OWRA enhances a user's ability to collect enough information to develop a complete self-sufficiency plan. OWRA is a comprehensive assessment that allows users to collect all the necessary participant information during the interview. So, be thorough, be as complete as possible in the information that you can collect. The more information you collect, the better it will be for the TANF participant. Now that you have a sense of what OWRA is, we are going to go into more detail about what OWRA does and what types of information it collects. OWRA allows you to proceed from identifying TANF participants' barriers to work, determine work skills and work readiness, link participants to pertinent development and work activities through monitoring participant activities. The intake and assessment modules look at 9 distinct areas of interest, including demographics, employment and employment history, education and certifications, housing and transportation, health and childcare and well-being. Each section measures both strengths like past jobs, available childcare resources, immunization records, access to a car or other means of transportation, but also measures a set of potential barriers to employment. Researchers, including the Center on Budget and Policy Priorities, the General Accounting Office, and the University of Maryland Family Welfare Research and Training Group, among others, have outlined the various barriers to work and self-sufficiency among TANF participants. The University of Maryland conducted a study that looked at the importance of barrier identification as a means to improve employment placements and stability. As a result of the OWRA pilot, we have seen that OWRA has the potential to not only assist caseworkers in identifying barriers to employment, but more importantly, help TANF participants with barriers to enter and succeed in the workforce. Whether it's histories of domestic violence, drug and/or alcohol abuse, little or no work history, criminal records, housing problems, mental illness, chronic health problems, a sick child or family member, low basic skills, or no high school diploma or GED, learning disabilities, limited English proficiency, or a lack of access to transportation, OWRA is an intuitive resource for caseworkers to determine what follow-up activities or wraparound services are required to improve the likelihood that a participant will be able to succeed. OWRA assists TANF workers to determine the specific employment barriers, which include lack of education, lack of work history, low income, childcare, transportation, health conditions, substance abuse, ex-offenders, homelessness, language barriers among diverse populations, and disabilities. The OWRA Self-Sufficiency Plan allows case managers not only to identify these barriers, but to better assess TANF participants' employment readiness and suitability. It helps to develop action steps that the participant should follow to make the transition off of TANF. The tool matches the individual's self-sufficiency plan to local workforce needs to determine employment goals, determine a participant's readiness for work, and aids the case manager in making appropriate recommendations for training, employment, and education. A new feature of OWRA is its online functionality and its almost paperless use. Introducing new technologies into work environments can be exciting and challenging, all at the same time. OWRA is a beneficial resource for seasoned TANF workers as well as new TANF workers in effectively enhancing their ability to assess TANF participants. At this point, I will now walk you through the OWRA tool. I'm going to highlight some of the most important sections, most difficult questions, and how each question is meant to assist you better serve the TANF participant. Our TANF caseworker above has just logged on to the OWRA tool, and she sees the initial sign-in page. We have built the tool so that each individual user will have their designated username and password to ensure data security, confidentiality, and privacy. As a free resource to state, county, and tribal TANF agencies, your state, county, or tribe may choose to take on the tool. For additional information on deploying the tool and technical requirements, please refer to our website at peerta.acf.gov. www.hhs.gov/TANF-TC and look under Download the OWRA tool. After logging in, this initial page is your window to all the individuals that have been accessed in the system. Locate the name of the individual that you want to work with and simply click on the hyperlink to assess the assessment that you want to complete. As circled on the screen, if you would like to start a brand new assessment, click on New Interview at the top of the page. You can click Print Report to access a print version of a participant's assessment. Delete allows you to delete files. Once the assessment is complete, you can click SSP to assess and edit the participant's self-sufficiency plan. Section A of the tool is focused on employment and work-related questions that will assist you gain a better understanding of the types of job interests and career desires of TANF participants. Moreover, you will be able to gain a more clear understanding of the reasons that the TANF participant is not working or what their current work situation may be, and why that position may not be meeting their individual or family needs. You will be gathering information on their language proficiency, how well they speak English, and what are some of the specific work-related experiences that they have had in the past. This section is similar to developing a functional resume. It provides an overview of the past work history, abilities to accomplish certain tasks, and actual interest in continuing to do those things. Whether it's food service or adult daycare services, you'll be asking some detailed questions about the types of services that the TANF participant has performed in the past or currently perform. So try to gather as much information as possible, because this will allow you or the job coach to place the TANF participant in the most advantageous work activity. I am sure you are wondering, what is the difference between work interests and job interests? Job interests differ from career interests in specific ways. It is important to understand the differences in order to ensure that TANF participants are ready for the immediate and long term. Job interests will better prepare you to assist a job coach or job developer to assess immediate work-related areas where your client can possibly be successful. Whether it's working with people, things, data, or ideas, job interests meet the immediate needs of the participant and satisfy your need to place each participant into a work activity. On the other hand, the ultimate goal of TANF is to ensure that individuals become self-sufficient. In order to become self-sufficient, each individual should have a clear set of goals and a clear understanding of the type of jobs they would like to have and that they will be able to accomplish their long-term needs. Career interests are designed to help TANF participants match their skills and interests, not to mention their past experience with careers that are self-sustaining. All careers are jobs, but not all jobs are careers. It is important to differentiate between the two in order to make certain that a TANF participant does not constantly rely on quick positions or temporary jobs to meet their needs. The job history section is meant to record all jobs, including the current job if applicable, that the participant has had. This virtual resume is a good way to begin to collect important points of contact for former employers, relevant information about the participant that may be useful for a resume. Based on the information collected here, the user and the TANF participant have already created a resume template that can be tailored and tweaked for use by the participant once they start seeking employment. This section is meant to outline all the work-related experiences that the participant may have had at a previous job, volunteer activity, at home, or over the course of their life. OWRA is trying to determine what types of work-related experiences that the participant has had, and it will, as a result, provide recommendations based on the feedback of potential trainings and career areas that are most relevant to the participant. According to Rutgers University and Stanford University, successful self-sufficiency programs that include a job training or post-secondary education component have been more successful at getting low-income and working individuals off of TANF. Section B looks at education and what past education-related experiences the TANF participant has had. Evidence shows that the key to earning more and moving up the economic ladder is higher educational attainment and skills training. So, you want to have a clear understanding of the level of education that the TANF participant possesses. Did he or she finish high school? What was the last grade or year of schooling that they actually completed? Have they received a certification in cosmetology, for example, or barbering? Those are very important to the development of self-sufficiency plans because they allow you to better understand possible career choices for the TANF participant. If they have a welding certificate, you can attempt to place them in positions that have to do with welding or other construction fields. According to the National Council on Disability, the Texas Adult Education and Family Literacy Collaboration, and the Consortium for Citizens with Disabilities, many in the TANF caseload have a variety of learning difficulties. A recent study by Mathematica Policy Research shows that approximately 25 to 40% of TANF participants have learning disabilities. TANF participants with learning disabilities face unique challenges in progressing from welfare to financial independence. Learning disabilities are often overlooked and unidentified. Researchers from Mathematica Policy Research also contend that while upfront client self-reports provide TANF applicants an opportunity to disclose issues that might reduce their chances of finding and/or sustaining employment, comprehensive assessments is often the first step in helping TANF participants living with a disability find and maintain employment. OWRA has a set of comprehensive questions tailored to help you better uncover specific indicators that a TANF participant may have a learning difficulty. The assessment is from the Washington State Learning Needs Screening Tool. However, keep in mind that OWRA does not replace a formal diagnostic tool. So if OWRA indicates that there may be learning disability, please follow your state, county, or tribal policy and procedures and refer the TANF participant to the applicable professional. The lack of stable housing and dependable transportation options are major impediments to TANF participants. Working families face increased pressure to achieve self-sufficiency when they are not stable in a home. Housing provides stability for working families, enabling them to obtain and keep a job. Housing stability is a critical component of self-sufficiency and ensures that the TANF participants get stable housing is a critical support. Affordable housing is linked to the well-being of working families, including those receiving or transitioning off TANF. This section looks specifically at the housing and transportation challenges that a TANF participant may be facing when interviewed, whether the participant has moved several times or have experienced homelessness, whether they have a working vehicle or a driver's license. This section will help you better understand the housing and transportation situation of the participant. The Community Transportation Association and the U.S. Department of Transportation report that transportation is integral to self-sufficiency achievement among TANF participants. Reliable transportation options are essential for finding and keeping a job, but many TANF participants face transportation challenges in searching for employment, participating in training or education activities, and getting to work. Many available jobs have relocated to the outlying suburban areas where public transportation is not always available. Jobs in these outlying areas are not viable options for TANF participants living in central urban communities. In rural areas and on tribal reservations, there are very few options available for TANF participants to catch a bus, find a cab, or hop on a train. According to a recent report by ICF International, based on results from a New Jersey transportation survey, 1 in 3 TANF participants surveyed in New Jersey reported losing a job opportunity due to transportation challenges. Most TANF participants rely on some form of public transportation, primarily bus lines, to travel to employment or work activities. Many low-income individuals work non-traditional hours, such as second or third shift, but public transportation is often not available during these hours. The majority of the TANF clients sample also had children under the age of 12, which makes public transportation reliance more complex when combined with long commutes to and from home, childcare arrangements, and work activities that may require non-traditional employment hours. These complex commutes typically require several different modes of transportation. This section of OWRA seeks to gain a more clear understanding of how the TANF participant get to and from work, to appointments, and other daily events. It outlines if the individual has a car, if the car actually works, whether the participant has a current license, and asks how participants generally travel to work and other activities. According to a study conducted by ASPE, physical health and mental health problems have a significant impact on whether or not a TANF participant is employed. Numerous research studies show an association between health conditions and employment. About a quarter of TANF participants rate their health as fair or poor, However, 61% have at least one of 5 health conditions presented. Physical health problems are the most prevalent problems among TANF participants. The National Institute of Mental Health reports mental health disorders are also fairly common and are the leading cause of disability in the United States. The section of OWRA asks if the TANF participant is generally healthy. If the participant is female, it asks if she is currently pregnant, and are there other females in the household who are pregnant. When was the participant's last checkup, and what emotional mental challenges has the participant experienced and or been diagnosed with? These questions are very in-depth assessments about the physical and or mental impediments that participants may face on a daily basis. Whether it's high blood pressure, diabetes, or some other significant medical condition, Section D seeks to gain a more clear understanding of potential physical ailments that may or may not impact the ability of the participant to work. Whether it's feelings of depression or anger, the questions in Section E will allow you to gain a more complete understanding of the emotional strength of or specific emotional barriers that the participant faces. OWRA's health assessment is not meant to replace the professional advice of a doctor or other medical professional. It is meant to provide information to be used for planning efforts and case management activities. OWRA provides flags to alert you if something is reported by the participant that may require a referral for a checkup. Again, bear in mind that OWRA is not a formal diagnostic tool. If there are issues that OWRA has flagged, you will need to follow your state, tribe, or county's policies and protocols for next steps and referrals. OWRA will, however, document the information you input and then provide recommendations with regard to potential physical and mental disabilities that the TANF participant may have to deal with based on customized recommendations that you entered into OWRA. According to the National Institute of Mental Health, an estimated 26.2% of Americans ages 18 and older suffer from a mental disorder, such as depression, anxiety disorder, or panic disorder in a given year. Many people suffer from more than one mental disorder at a given time. 45% of those with any mental disorder suffers from 2 or more disorders. Whether it's anxiety or worry, mental health has been shown to be a significant barrier to self-sufficiency. Researchers from Mathematica Policy Research point out that the screening assessment process is key in assisting individuals with mental health barriers because they are the first steps in linking these individuals to the barrier removal services they need. In fact, mental health problems represent significant obstacles to employment, and TANF participants with mental health problems are more likely to require additional assistance. OWRA has a set of specific questions that's meant to assist you in your understanding of the mental health needs of TANF participants. These questions can provide you with important indicators that the participant may need to see a professional to deal with the mental health challenges. According to the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration at HHS, the University of Michigan, and Mathematica Policy Research, one of the most prominent challenges to self-sufficiency among TANF participants is substance abuse. Estimates of TANF participants who abuse alcohol or drugs range from 8 to 23%, compared to 4 to 12% for the general population. While the proportion of TANF clients with a substance abuse problem is unknown, researchers and practitioners know that substance abuse is a common obstacle clients face on the path to self-sufficiency. More importantly, substance abuse can affect employment by causing illness, injury, and the loss of productivity. SAMHSA states that assessment instruments are critical in both identifying and addressing substance abuse barriers. OWRA provides a series of questions made to gauge the impact that alcohol or drugs are having on a TANF participant, and outlines specific recommendations that have been customized for addressing those challenges, including referrals to substance abuse counseling. Since most people who abuse drugs become addicted and are unaware of the addiction, it is important that you have a better understanding of use and abuse and how it may be impacting the participant's progress. More importantly, some people may not have visible signs of substance abuse, but OWRA asks detailed and tested questions to determine physical and psychological manifestations of possible drug use. Once again, we caution you to not use OWRA as a formal diagnostic tool if there are issues of alcohol and substance abuse. However, if your agency has specific protocols or policies in place regarding alcohol and substance abuse use, OWRA allows for those specific policies or protocols to be entered into the tool. OWRA collects detailed information on not only the TANF participant, but also the participant's household members in order to gain a better understanding of how substance abuse may impact the ability of the participant to seek or maintain employment. Domestic violence and safety are significant problems for TANF participants. Researchers at the Government Accounting Office and the Urban Institute estimate that between 20 to 30% of TANF caseloads are victimized by domestic violence. According to the Welfare Information Network, domestic violence has historically been as invisible barriers, unlike a disability or substance abuse issue, and many victims do not report such personal information to caseworkers. The use of successful screening practices and comprehensive assessment can help with identifying and addressing this barrier that is often ignored. Today, TANF includes an important provision known as the Family Violence Option, under which states commit to screen participants for domestic violence and refer those who are identified as domestic violence victims to domestic violence services. As a result, TANF is a critical source of support for individuals impacted by domestic violence. Many TANF agencies' intake process includes the screening for domestic violence so that people at risk can be connected to domestic violence counseling. TANF work participation requirements can also be waived to give participants enough time to go to court and counseling and to get a job. In fact, according to the Government Accounting Office, TANF programs can help participants address domestic violence issues by granting waivers that exempt victims from TANF requirements and by referring participants for domestic violence services. Most states will waive the TANF program's federal requirements pertaining to work, the 5-year lifetime limit on cash assistance, and the child support requirements. OWRA can help TANF workers better recognize the various forms abuse can take, such as verbal, physical, sexual, and psychological threats and abuse. However, addressing domestic violence and safety poses several challenges for TANF workers. For instance, the participant may not feel safe or comfortable disclosing such personal information, and you may also be uncomfortable discussing domestic violence for various reasons. OWRA provides a set of questions to directly address domestic violence and provides TANF workers with a tool to highlight potential domestic violence issues. Whether it's threatening situations or stalking episodes, the OWRA tool has been tested to be an effective resource in identifying potential domestic violence issues and how they may impact the participant's ability to be successful. Please note, domestic violence is often disclosed outside of the initial screening and assessment process. Again, OWRA should not take the place of an official domestic violence or safety assessment. Rather, it will provide you with a general picture of whether there may be issues around domestic violence and safety. We ask that you follow your state, county, and tribe's policies and protocols. A child's overall well-being is very important for all families. However, it plays a critical role in the lives of working families because it could mean the difference between dependence and independence. The nature of TANF's focus on work and work activities creates an increasingly prevalent need for child care services. According to the Urban Institute and the Government Accounting Office, more than half of all foster care children comes from families that receive TANF, and a significant percentage of families receive support services through the child welfare system. Although employment has increased among low-income mothers, one of the biggest expenses for families in TANF programs continues to be child care. With the growth in child-only cases in the TANF caseload, it is important for TANF workers to have a more rich understanding of the child care needs and general child well-being of the children in the home. Families lacking reliable child care are least likely to obtain self-sufficiency, and children from low-income families are more likely to have disciplinary problems or issues at school. OWRA includes a comprehensive look at the child care and child well-being situation for TANF families. Understanding any behavior or disability among children in the household will allow you to better assess the ability of an individual to complete a given task. Not understanding can be detrimental to the self-sufficiency outcomes of TANF participants and can further strain the home life of the child and the parent alike. OWRA also assists you in better understanding if the TANF participant is caring for a disabled child or a child with frequent discipline issues at school. It provides documentation on reasons why an individual does not have child care and documents the names and locations of child care providers. This allows the caseworker to have a better understanding of the specific childcare needs of the participant and/or how the child's potential barrier to work and self-sufficiency. After completing a thorough OWRA assessment, you can now use the OWRA tool to create a self-sufficiency plan or employment plan for your TANF participants. The Self-Sufficiency Plan, or SSP, helps state, local, and tribal agencies better assess TANF participants' employment readiness and suitability, matches the individual's SSP to local workforce needs to determine employment goals, determines a participant's readiness for work, and aids the case manager in making appropriate recommendations for training, employment, and education. The Self-Sufficiency Plan serves as a career planning tool for a TANF participant and links an individual's unique interests and abilities with workforce and labor market needs. As a case manager, you'll be able to help TANF participants determine a career ladder to ensure that participants are not only placed in temporary low-entry job placements, but are also on a path to self-sufficiency. The SSP contains customer information, a TANF work participation overview, household composition, and a breakdown of non-TANF benefits received. The SSP also includes an employment plan and a barrier reduction plan, which lays out a detailed snapshot of the participant's strengths and barriers. It provides case managers with customized recommendations for what TANF participants can do to address barriers. The plan also allows case managers to enter action steps for the participant and log referrals made. The Self-Sufficiency Plan takes initial assessment to the next step. As a dynamic tool, the SSP allows caseworkers and clients to develop a series of action steps to improve client success. For example, after completing the OWRA assessment and after opening the SSP, you will see a list of barriers your client is experiencing. Because the tool is customizable, the SSP will generate state or locality-specific required or recommended actions. In addition to these generated action steps, as the case manager, you can add action steps for your specific clients. Using the SSP, you can develop an interactive action plan with your client that clearly outlines objectives and action steps. Upon completion of the SSP, you can print out a paper copy of the SSP. Your client, supervisor, and yourself will sign the document. You can give a copy of the SSP to your client and supervisor to serve as a contract or reminder of the steps you are asking your client to take to reach self-sufficiency. The Work Readiness Resource is intended to provide you and your clients with a hub of resources, assessments, and takeaway activities to assist participants with connecting to the workforce and labor market. This part of the OWRA tool is not part of the assessment itself. Rather, it is an additional resource that can be used along the self-sufficiency process. It is not password protected and can be printed out and given to participants. Participants can also access the Work Readiness Resource on a public computer at their local library. The resource is made up of two sections. The For Participants section helps participants learn about their own interests, abilities, and skills so that they can begin planning for a career path. This section includes 3 levels of activities: information and outside links. Level 1 is designed to help participants build a resume, write a cover letter, and prepare for job interviews. Level 2 allows participants to explore their interests and skills. Level 3 teaches participants about work readiness values and different kinds of careers, helps them gather information on jobs and local labor markets, and builds a personal education plan. Throughout the levels, the resource includes takeaways, which are activities and fact sheets participants can print out and complete to learn about themselves. The For Case Manager section provides you with an interactive hub of information, resources, and tools so that you can help your participants become self-sufficient. There are 6 subsections: overview of For Participants section, keywords and concepts, and exploring jobs, occupations, and careers overview, different work assessments, overview of career pathways and clusters, understanding labor market information, and labor market information resources. The reporting module is intended for leadership at your local agency or at the county, tribal, or state level. It is a reporting tool that summarizes demographics, barriers, skills assessments, and other data previously collected in previous sections. As information is added and updated, this module collects real-time data that allows staff at all levels to understand the characteristics, demographics, and needs of their caseload or TANF population, and informs strategies used at the case management, supervisory, and administrative levels to design and customize programs to meet the TANF participants' needs. The module involves a dashboard, which provides users with an at-a-glance view of their center, county, or state's aggregate client information with graphs and charts. The dashboard shows what is going on in a TANF caseload at all times. Every time the source data is updated, the dashboard is also updated. Users can also run reports that provide a breakdown of factors within the caseload, such as demographics, educational attainment, employment history and career preferences, and barriers around transportation, housing, legal issues, child care, domestic violence, and well-being and health. We have come to the end of this demonstration. I want to thank you for taking the time to learn about OWRA. One of the principal aims of OWRA is to link your clients with greater economic opportunities, stronger social networks, and effective services and supports that can help families achieve self-sufficiency. If you have any questions, please contact Al Fleming, the Federal Project Officer, or myself at tanf_techconnections@icfi.com. We also encourage you to visit the URL shown at http://pureTA.acf.hhs.gov/TANFTC for virtual technical assistance that can also help you achieve greater program goals for strengthening families and neighborhoods. As you have seen, OWRA is a particularly valuable resource that you can use to address the challenges that the TANF participants face. As a comprehensive client assessment, OWRA allows you to meet the challenges of families with innovation and helps TANF participants achieve goals and capitalize on their strengths while addressing their barriers.